time to give the people what they want. It's Jalen and Jacoby.
He is Jalen Anthony Rose.
What up, Doe?
I'm David Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in.
Together, we are Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN2. What do we do?
We get it, people! What they want.
Do you know what the people want? The people want to talk about Detroit basketball. What do they want to talk about? The Pistons went into Boston and delivered a statement win over the Celtics. Jalen, I know you've been begging to talk about the Pistons for so long, but not until they beat the team with the best record in the league, fueled by Andre Drummond. But look at what they have done so far. They've got, 9th in offensive rating, 14th in defensive rating, great rebounding. They're 3rd in three-point percentage. Jalen, finally, you get to wax poetic about the keys to the success of this Pistons season thus far.
See, here's the thing. You might see me on television like, he's rocking Cartiers, he's rocking Gazelles, he's rocking Gucci's. Because these are the things growing up in the city of Detroit I always dreamed about doing.
You also
now
dreamed
I have
about the Pistons being
opportunity
good.
to do so. The same with my Detroit Pistons. There are times where we have the bad boy era. Then we had the Mr. Big Shot and Rip Hamilton and Rashid and Ben Wallace era. Now it's the stand by me.
Yes, give it to me.
Oh, stand by me. I've been trying to tell people he's a top-tier coach in the NBA. I saw what he did in Miami, though they went on to win the championship with Pat Riley. I saw what he did in Orlando, and I'm watching right in front of my very eyes the transformation of my Detroit basketball Pistons. And the thing that I appreciate is when the team embodies a style of play that the city relates to.
Oh, okay.
And that's what has happened here. Yes, we have high-paid, maximum salary guys like Reggie Jackson and Andre Drummond. But the blue-collar fiber of the squad is what makes us tick. In particular, the improvement of Andre Drummond. We'll get to the free throw shooting. He always was able to get buckets, turn over both shoulders, catch lobs. He was always able to get rebounds. Andre Drummond is getting over a block a game.
Yep.
And over 15 boards. The last person to put up those type of numbers was in the late 70s. Okay?
Avery
in those
Bradley,
two categories.
Avery Bradley comes to mind as someone who represents the blue-collar essence of Detroit Rock City.
When he played in Boston, what did I tell you about Avery Bradley?
Kyrie Irving, it was like, oh no. Did you see the game? I watched every second of the game. Avery Bradley was like, Kyrie, I've got you tonight. I've got you tonight. Kyrie did not look good last night, and a lot of it had to do because Avery Bradley did not allow him to look good last night.
And the reason why he's one of my crazy glue guys, and I say that affectionately, when you look at that gentleman, he looked like a boxer. He walk in, face all swole up. He not smiling, but he fighting through every screen. He's competing on every play, he's making an open three. Those type of guys make a guy like Tobias Harris like, wait a minute, y'all move Morris out of the way? I get minutes at the 3. I get minutes at the 4.
Tobias Harris is flourishing.
30s.
Tobias Harris is flourishing this year.
No question about it.
But
I'm already putting it on wax. The Pistons get 2 All-Stars this year. Andre Drummond and Tobias Harris. That's how well this squad is playing so far.
Well, one of the things that has improved so much about Andre Drummond's games is his free throw shooting. He is now shooting 61.8%, and he's making big buckets. Last night, the Celtics actually tried to hack a Drummond strategy. They tried it one time, and then Brad Stevens just went away from it. And he tried, if you remember, virtual reality goggles. Jalen, there he is right there with his virtual reality goggles on, learning how to shoot free throws. Should everybody try virtual reality goggles to strengthen their weaknesses?
Props to the team for making whatever the player may need available an option for him to improve. But the most props go to JRLA supporter, and big shout to his mom, who's terrific as well. Andre Drummond who had the worst free throw percentage of any player in the history of the NBA.
He was so good from the line last. I think he was 6 for 8, and he's going like this every time he made one. I was so happy for him.
And now all of a sudden, he's making free throws in the clutch. This gives credence to my argument. Lastly, before we finish talking about this squad, this is why you should not eliminate the ability of players to foul poor free throw shooters. If guys want to get on the free throw line and make the only uncontested shot from 15 feet when no one is moving, that's the same length that it is in elementary, middle school, high school, and college, Andre Drummond is a perfect example of that improvement.
You know Robertson and you know DeAndre Jordan just went and bought some virtual reality goggles. They don't even know if they're just playing video games in them, but they definitely have some virtual reality goggles on the bench for the Clippers, DeAndre Jordan right now. There's bad news for the Clippers, though. Last night, as they're playing the Lakers in a little crosstown, quote-unquote, rivalry, there was this play, little scrum for a loose ball. Austin Rivers gets kind of pushed into Blake Griffin's knee. It bends awkwardly. Griffin was down. He was cursing. He was screaming. It looked awful. He actually stayed in the game for one possession and walked off, as you see, under his own power. But the news isn't great. He has a strained MCL in his left leg, and the Woj dropped the report that he'll be out for 2 months. What does this mean for the future of the Clippers?
The unfortunate thing for the Clippers is this season seems to be one of cursed variety to the point where now they're going to continue to break down their roster. And I think in doing so, it's going to start with DeAndre Jordan, who becomes a free agent after this year. Blake, who's put up great regular season numbers, seems to be hurt at the most inopportune times, whether regular season or postseason. In this case, it was friendly fire in theory, his own teammate falling into his leg, kind of like Zaza Pachulia did last season with Kevin Durant.
Yep.
And so based on that, now you're going to see the face of the Clippers look a lot different in uniform. Unfortunately, you may also see the coaching staff look a lot different. And as I see a shakeup that has happened in Memphis, I'm going to tell you something. David Fizdale is going to be a hot commodity as a head coach. And lastly, Colin Kaepernick is on the cover of GQ, flipping through the pages like, why don't Mark Jackson have a job in the NBA again?
So wait a second. Let me unpack this, Mr. Rose. Not only are you saying that perhaps Doc Rivers will not finish the season coaching for the Los Angeles Clippers, you think Ballmer and Jerry West are looking around at the headlines and say, wait, David Fizdale got fired and no one can really figure out why he got fired and he's on the market? Maybe we should just send a text message to his agent and just, I don't know, set up a little secret conference call. You think something like that could happen? Jalen, I know you can't confirm because you don't want to give up your sources, but that's the information where you will get first on Jalen and Jacoby. Next on Jalen and Jacoby, you will get LeBron's reaction to
Ain't
the
that
news.
hear no evil, speak no evil?
Yes, Jalen, that's exactly what it is. Irving Johnson has a very lovely wife named Cookie.
Yes,
and
indeed.
one time he wanted to take care of his wife, and he said, you know what I'm going to do?
Since college.
I'm going to get her some jewelry. I'm going to go to a jeweler, and just for one night, I want her to be laced. So I'm going to put a $250,000 deposit down on these jewels so I can rent them essentially for the night. $250,000.
This is one of those things that when you're a billionaire, you continue to try to find ways to please your significant other. Let me tell you what the rest of us would have done if we wanted to take $250,000 to impress our mate. Take it out of the bank. Put it on the bed. Put it on the floor. Make it leaves in the house. Let's just walk and do snow angels on it for a weekend. Walk through the house with bacon in there, just throwing money in the air.
Throwing money around.
No doubt about it.
What's for breakfast? Cash. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen, there are rumors. There are little notions out in the air. Joe Vardon of Cleveland.com reporting that a league source said that the Cavs would consider a trade package that would bring them DeAndre Jordan for Tristan Thompson and maybe a pick or maybe someone else. Do you think the Cavs should consider something like this?
I am so for this.
I'm against it.
The Cavs should do this deal. I'll tell you the basketball reasons.
Okay.
DeAndre's taller.
Yes.
A better rebounder, a better shot blocker. He's a free agent after this year. You can lock him up long term. You're going to need players if you don't have the ability to stretch the floor to play five to actually be run, jump, dunk, catch, lob type of players. But the other reason why I'm so for this, and I really like Tristan Thompson, I hope he gets back healthy, this puts the Kardashian family back together again.
Oh, puts them in Los Angeles. Yeah, get closer to the family.
No
I love that
doubt
angle.
about it.
Everybody wants to be close to their family. I love that. But Jalen,
How about this? So,
Jalen, hold on.
Tristan's dating a Kardashian, and Blake's dating a Jenner. It's only right.
I do like that. However, let me give you some basketball reasons why I don't think they should do this. If they're going to win the championship, who are they likely going to face in the finals? The Golden State Warriors. In the final 6 minutes of every finals game, you cannot put DeAndre Jordan on the floor. Not just for free throw shooting. Imagine he puts on some virtual reality goggles like Andre Drummond and turns that around. He can't switch on to anybody. And that's what happens in the finals. Like, I think it would be great for the regular season, this move, but in the finals, I just feel like they would find ways to isolate him, get him on the perimeter, get fouls on him, and it would just be a mess. And then he'd end up sitting on the bench, and Kevin Love would be playing center, and it wouldn't really work. That's why I wouldn't do this.
I disagree. Let me teach you something, young man.
Let's move on to another topic. I don't want to hear from you.
The goal is to be able to play multiple styles. So you mean to tell me when they play against those same teams, is Tristan Thompson going to be in the game?
Yes, Tristan Thompson can switch on. We've seen it. We have 2 years of data of Tristan Thompson playing pretty good defense and terrible offense against that very same Warriors team.
I feel like DeAndre Jordan could put that level of effort in, but also on the other end, he should be able to dominate in the paint, in particular, catching lobs and getting all of the dirty work plays happen.
You know one thing I'm not doing? I'm not giving up that Brooklyn pick, though. If I'm the Cavs and I'm not sure LeBron's coming back, I'm not giving up the Brooklyn pick. You can ask for it. We can start the negotiation there, but I am not giving up that Brooklyn pick and Tristan Thompson for DeAndre Jordan. I'm glad we finally agreed on something. Let's move on. So, Fizdale got fired. And everyone seems to agree that it's sort of unjust, and we don't really know what happened. A lot of people are pointing to this interview that Marc Gasol did when he was benched in the fourth quarter, but somebody tells me that an upset player doesn't necessarily get a coach fired. There's a lot of incidents, a lot of behind-the-scenes things we don't understand. Someone else who doesn't really understand it, but offered a little bit of a theory, was LeBron James. Let's listen to LeBron.
I don't know the details of it because I'm not around, but I know the type of coach Fizz is. I know how players relate to him, and I know what he stands for. And he don't stand for no. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's what it was, because he ain't gonna kiss nobody. I know that.
Jalen, can I read way too much into this because I'm a media member?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. I think what LeBron James is alluding to is the fact that he won't kiss up to people. People like, oh, I don't know, the front office, the general manager, the owner, and perhaps there was a clash of ideology. Perhaps there was an exchange of words. And perhaps during this 8-game losing streak when, like you always say, winning's the best deodorant, well, guess what? Losing makes you stink. And when everyone's upset and everyone's pointing the finger and everyone's mad, maybe some expletives were shared, and maybe he just lost. Lost the relationship with the people that employed him, and that's why he is out of the league at the moment. Because there is no real forward-facing or wins and losses or basketball reasons that he would be fired, especially because of an 8-game losing streak, as bad as that is, with the roster that he has, the injuries that they've had, doesn't really make sense. Do you buy this theory based on not much?
Fizdale, a terrific coach who did more with less last year and continued to do so at the beginning of this year. I hope he and Mark Jackson line up side to side playing against one another next year, because they both deserve to have jobs really quick, fast, in a hurry in this league.
You mean playing against each other in the Big Three?
Here's the theory. What ends up happening is Memphis is a unique situation. They didn't give him the mega deal like Luke Walton got in Los Angeles. When they decide that they're going to retire Zach Randolph and Tony Allen's numbers for their productivity, but also for their service, and they're embodying the grit and grind nature. Basically, what that tells the fan base and everybody around, that we want Marc Gasol and Mike Conley to be here forever so we can do the exact same thing for him. If Marc Gasol isn't seeing eye to eye with any coach and he comes to the front office and says, I want to be moved, regardless of where he ranks amongst centers in today's game, that now becomes a stain on the organization and it affects their bottom line if he's unhappy there. So basically what they did is choose the lesser of two evils. Keep the big fella that's in uniform happy. Hopefully he'll stay there for a really long time, get his numbers in the rafters like the other gentleman that I mentioned. We know Fizdale was a good coach for us. We figure he will land on his feet, but this was the choice they made under those circumstances, even though, like LeBron James and like many, I didn't agree with how it was handled.
Well, something tells me more information about this will come out as time goes on. But right now, Jalen, can you take us behind the curtain? A fan recently posted this video of his son or one of his family members filmed this of him just trying to get Steph Curry's attention. We've all seen this by now. He's got a jersey. He's trying to get Steph's attention. He love you, Steph. I love you, Steph. Steph is looking his direction within earshot, must have heard him, but did not acknowledge him or grant his request for an autograph. This has somehow turned into a controversial thing. Ayesha Curry's weighed in. Our girl Jamel Hill is weighed in. It's become a thing now. But Jalen, take us behind the curtain. What is going through Steph Curry's head as this happens?
A couple of things. Because this is a loaded circumstance. And I wish it wasn't late in the segment so I could really break down every tentacle of what's happening here. Because, like the great American philosopher Chris Tucker once said, if I could be where everybody wanted me to be, I would be confused. And that's the quandary that Steph Curry finds himself in. First and foremost, as a black athlete, when you're in the public domain, in particular NBA or NFL, though you dominate the field or the court, you're the minority in the stands. So a lot of people from the outside, especially those that look like me, like, even though you're looking for your family, you got to find time to sign for the young brother. Put Steph in an awkward spot. The young brother at the game. You got Clay, you got a couple of other people. All of a sudden, you feel a level of, I know I'm getting Steph now. I'm right here, ain't nobody around. Yo! And he got something else on his mind, whatever it is. We're not here to judge. So in each circumstance, I actually think both individuals were right by the way they handled it, because as somebody who signed multiple autographs for anybody that asks, the one person that complains is unfortunately the one person you don't get to. And lastly, when people don't allow themselves to distract you, they get upset. Sometimes they don't care if you're eating dinner. They don't care if you're on the phone. They don't care if you're walking with your kids. They want their time and their energy with you. And as a public figure, this is why we're put in a position to give back to those who have meant so much to us. So I see both sides. It's unfortunate that it played out the way that it played out. But here's what's going to happen.
He's gonna get a special invite. He's gonna be in the Curry VIP section. It's all gonna work out for everybody. So why we've been talking about it. Let's move on. When we come back, we have some very important statue news. We all remember Sunday, Aqib Talib snatching Michael Crabtree's chain for a second time. Adam Schefter has some new information about this, that Crabtree taped his chain down before taking the field. Jalen Rose, very important question. Soft move or boss move, taping your chain down before facing your rival?
That right there is a soft move because it's not going to stop the other individual from running your jewels.
I think it just makes it more difficult and therefore makes it more of a trophy when it gets accomplished.
It doesn't make it more difficult. Basically, what was happening in that scenario is it's symbolic of not only do I not like you, I'm going to disrespect you enough that I'm going to snatch your chain and you're not going to do anything about it. So Michael Crabtree had to defend himself.
we have some statue news. Jalen, there's this planned statue of Evander Holyfield going up in downtown Atlanta outside the Flatiron Building, scheduled for 2018. Do you like this new statue, senior statue analyst?
I love it. Real deal Holyfield. The only thing is, can they do something with his arms?
No, I have another thing that I would like them to do. I looked at this statue, and I think they should take a little chunk out of his right ear. Based on, wouldn't that be nice? His ear is fully formed. Don't you feel like it would be so nice, like a little wink-wink to one of the most memorable moments in his career? Should they take a chunk out of his right ear?
That, while it's a memorable moment, it's not a defining moment because he was a storied multiple champion in different weight classes. So I get the joke and it's keys, but no,
I
not
thought it'd
rolling.
be fun. Well, Arby's is going to buy Buffalo Wild Wings for $2.4 billion. We slander Arby's on this program all the time. How did they get $2.4 billion selling those sandwiches, Jalen? How did they get $2.4 billion selling those sandwiches?
Living in America.
Finally, we have this news. Justice League is out, and it's making money, but not enough money. Maybe because they spent $25 million taking a mustache off of some dude that had a mustache in the movie. Jalen, watch this. We're going to put a mustache on me on this program, and guess what? That took us no time and cost us zero money. What cost $25 million taking a mustache off a dude? You can just buy a razor and shave a person. That's all you have to do. Like, instead of the $25 million taking it off, why don't you just give him a razor before you shoot it? Just saying. Just saying.
Got
Is Justice League a
money
Disney
to
movie?
blow.
Is this a Disney movie?
Got
We
money
might be
to
back
blow.
tomorrow if we didn't just get canceled because I said that.
Got to give the people